Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It is Thursday, July the 20th. These are the charts of the day. Pretty good day on Wall Street. Kind of volatile, though. A lot of stocks we follow, though, did well. If you take a look at starting off with AbbVie, this is something that I've been talking to you about for a few weeks, because if you take a look at the longer term chart, you'll see multiple tops right in here. It went through it, and then it's consolidated above it, and now it's breaking out of that, which makes it a pretty positive pattern, which could extend and maybe even spike up into the high 70s, 80 range, something like that. There's 4.1 days to cover. AdTran, significant pop yesterday. We showed you that. Today, what a wonderful follow through. Another $1.80 or 8% on 930,000 shares. Now, I don't know how far this can go. This is a telecom equipment company, but take a look at the resistance right there. If it gets through this could be a $28 stock pretty quickly. Keep your eye on that. That's my next target. And how about our AXTI? Doing very well, thank you. Moving up the ranks. This is, let me get to the daily chart. You can see that over the course of the last couple of weeks, it's done very well in a rising channel. A little bit of a pullback here. But for me, this is a breakout day. Now, there is some resistance up here where the snapback high and this high came in. So that's going to be maybe a difficult takeout. That's about 785.95 zone. That's my immediate target. If we get through that, I'm looking at 8.5, 3/4. That's the old high. But more importantly, look at the long-term chart. It's a beautiful chart, and it's been spending almost all of this year consolidating, coming down, popping up, and pulling back again. So for me, once it gets through there, we're in clear sailing to 10 and 12. Something to keep an eye on is 3.8 days to cover in this one. Really nice action there. CENX, what a nice recovery. I was real worried about this pullback. It didn't look good, but look how it held around the 50 and near this trend line. Not far from the major trend line. It comes in right about there. So coming off of that and then bouncing and forming a flag, it broke out. Today was up another 66 cents or just under 4%, but 2.6 million traded, and with 5.8 days to cover short, and now above this area. I'm looking for 20 and 24 as my next targets. New one we spotted, Data Watch. We traded that today, did very well. As you can see, it when it opened, it popped and pulled back. We got a nice entry there, and for the rest of the day, it went up from about 980 all the way up to 1080 for a point. But on the day, with 800,000 shares, is big volume for the stock, as you can see. This broke out of a flag and ran. Now, there is some resistance up here at about 11.5. We may get there early tomorrow. If should have break through that, eventually this is a $14 and $16 stock. Not much of a short position, however. How about that ESPR? It popped 260 or 5.6%. It traded almost 800,000. Not the biggest volume, of course, but you can see it's the biggest volume in 3 weeks. And as it comes up towards resistance, which is about 50.5, should it get through, I'm looking for 57 on my next run up here. This still has about 7 days to cover short, a little more. Blackhawk Network. Well, first of all, beautiful base, breakout, retest, run up to resistance, pull back to the retested channel, then another retest and a pullback, and now here's the breakout day. With a breakaway gap and 2.1 million shares, this has made a new 2-year high. I have a target up here to test the late 2015 high up around 48.5. That's my near-term target, but the top of the channel is begging me for a look at maybe 50. So 48.5, 50 going forward on this one with 6.7 days to cover. Nice day for Kite. After the big pop breakout, this was the one-day breakdown that trapped everybody out. Stopped them out, I should say. And then this recovered, formed a wedge, and broke out again. There's your breakaway, back out again with big volume. Ran up, wedge, popped out, and now is consolidating very nicely in this area, but broke out today. So for me, what I'm looking at is a breakout of a coiling type pattern, which should likely lead, in my opinion, to upwards of 130 range. It may go to 140, but this one broke out today and I think is headed higher where it's going to take the LABU with it. Speaking of LABU, not that Kite's the only component, but this broke out, pulled back and formed a nice little flag. It actually looked like this, more of a wedge. Had a nice volume day here and then stalled right at resistance for about a week and a half. Couldn't get through, almost 2 weeks, couldn't get through here. Note that today it did break out, did not get through this high, but we're watching 73, 73.07 tomorrow because we get through that, we're headed towards 80. I kid you not, Biotech's maybe on the verge of a big move. Watch Copen, folks. With this little pattern, after the big wedge was broken, retested and broke out again. No, the volume's picking up, and it looks to me like if we get up through this area in that zone, it's going right to 4.5. It may go to 5, and it may do it very quickly. 10.8 days to cover on Copen. And there's your LABU we talked about. MCRB. This is a neat little biotech that has been basing since it got smashed last August. And look at the move just in the last 4 or 5 days. They're taking it from 10.5 to 14.5, or almost 14.25. There is resistance here at the run up from September at 15.09. And should we get through that, I'm looking at a potential of a $19 to $21 stock up here. 15 days to cover in this one. I think the squeeze is on. And one of our favorites, MX, after holding near support in this range, right there, for about 4 or 5 days, it popped today. Now, it was up 35 cents, but it was probably going to need to get to 11.60, 65 and run towards 13 and 15, my next targets for this one. The overall chart is terrific. 7.75 days to cover as well. And also one of our favorites from the past is Nectar, and that looks like that's emerging. 1.9 million shares up 51 cents or 2.35%. Not a big move, but my target's 25 and 28 going forward. Impinge with a nice day. Look at the reversal engulfing bar. First down to 48.90 and running up to 54.40, or almost 5 points. Almost 6 points, excuse me. Finished at 54, up 275. A nice reversal day, no question. And with volume being 1.5 million, the best in a month, that augurs well for a breakout and a run up to retest the old high at 60.85, maybe even 64. So let's just say 60, 60 and a half, and then 64.5 would be my targets going forward for PI. Sarepta, big pop breakaway today on good news. Now it did back off quite a bit from 43.69 to 40.93, but it was still up a whopping 6.85 or 20% on 20 million shares today. So this looks like a breakaway move. I don't think it's done yet. Your next target is 46 and then 52 going forward. There's 8.2 days to cover. I like the idea of Sarepta on a pullback here. And ZN, pretty powerful move again. Not only does this look good, but check out after hours tonight. Yeah, it got up to 5.95, trading at 5.80, up another 60 cents after hours. That puts it up about there. And this is a breakout. I am now looking for a retest of the 6.5, 7 zone, 6.5, 6.90, which if it gets through, 8 and 10, 11 are possibles, very possible targets. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Let's make some more money tomorrow. TGIF. I'll see you later.